huge deficit for Nuke if it continues as it's still level 1.
And note that Featherman isn't going over-aggressive because they don't quite have the vision on Joko. They haven't seen where he is, and that's why Jankos is now going aggressively in towards the Raptors. They want to see if Joko is playing a farming game. The Hawk shot crosses through as well, so now they know exactly where the Warwick is. So the reason why Featherman didn't go aggressive when the chains locked, it was all just about the damage.
Joko did not see Jankos. The red buff could be his undoing. It's going to be a little rough if Jankos sticks around enough to kill, but you can see where Nuke is. There's not some vision, however, it's not as safe as it might appear.
So Jankos knows that he's on the red buff, but obviously doesn't have full vision.
Okay, let's see how that one goes right now. Featherman and Nuke continue to face off against each other, but it's actually Featherman who's faring worse right now. Oh, no, a second.
He's holding on, don't worry. Well, it looks like Jankos, didn't steal the red buff away from Joko.
There's a whole lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of action up in the top side of the jungle. Not a whole lot of reward.
Go back to midline here. Featherman. Jankos is still trying to honestly keep Joko down, but he's the one who's down below right now. Odo does sink a taunt into Cabochard, but on Gragas, he's got the health pool to really keep himself in it. Here we go. Odo, he's going to get pushed back. It's a 2v2. Joko a little bit low on the health himself, but for the time being, that's all they need.
And now you're going to see the effect in the mid lane of that first play. Featherman got the recoil off, teleported back in, has now a full corrupting potion once again, and they're
on the
side of Nuke, so every single time. And now you get a little bit extra damage in these trades. It means that Featherman wants an IMCS, Nuke doesn't have to back himself away, and has to recoil at some point in the next minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, otherwise he's going to get a solo kill.
Might end up needing some help out of Joko once he hits that level 6 mark. Featherman is pushed up, but it's going to be a little difficult to get there when he's getting all his camp stolen away. And honestly, Jankos, it seemed like he was having a little further trouble against Joko last game, but the tables are definitely turning.
Vander heading towards mid lane, and this guy here, they know if Featherman plays into the lane, they might be able to get him.
Little Duran, get the taunt off, Nuke a little low though, however, Vander, he goes, tries to get the punch off, interrupted, rooted down, and not enough damage to finish the job by either party.
But it does mean that Vitality still come out on the losing end of that trade. Looked like for a moment Featherman could have been in trouble, but the fact that Jankos is able to compensate and come across to the mid lane as well means that Vitality hang on with only that 1 kill deficit so far.
Yeah, both junglers hanging around. You can see how they did last game, but now both want to be in the lane with Featherman. Oh boy, and here comes Jankos trying to splats in. Here he goes as he flashes forward and tastes his fear.
May not be first blood, but Jankos is proving he's the king of the jungle in this series so far, as Joko had to flash out, couldn't keep himself alive. Joko hasn't actually got a jungle minion since the Krog he took in front of Jankos. That means that Joko is in a pretty tough situation himself now. A kill on the Kazakhs, a kill on the LeBlanc, 2 assassins already ahead in this matchup, and it's just getting better and better for H2K.
Yeah, it's like H2K just said, oh, hold on, let me show you the play early game. Get ourselves ahead to start this off. It's a 1,400 gold lead. Odo continues to sink those taunts in. Cabochard is able to duel him, but for how long is he going to be able to keep that one up? He's seen H2K start to march forward.
Rami has Tiamat completed. We'll give him a little extra trading power, extra pushing power on top of it. But Cabochard should be okay. Just, roll the Q out the barrel, make sure that you can clear the way from underneath Rami. Really, Odo is not going to be too much trouble, unlike the mid lane.
Oh, yeah, and Featherman is never going to be alone. However, it's Odowame's ult getting interrupted, and Featherman might have bit off more than he could chew. Where's it actually forward? And Nuke with the outplay.
Oh, Featherman maybe didn't quite have the Q available for himself, and Nuke manages to get the kill, despite Featherman flashing back under the tower. Second game in a row, Nuke in a laning trade. This time you can't really call it a 1v1, but Nuke, despite getting first blooded, ends up killing Featherman again.
Yeah, Featherman trusted that he'd be able to get some help from Odowamme, but it was not to be, with the big barrel interrupting ult for ult trade in the top lane to make sure that the kill is secured in the mid. And here it is one more time.
So this is the trade onto mid lane. Featherman goes in, gets rooted in the minions. Look at how many minions were available there, and it was still 3 seconds before Featherman's Q was up. So even though you can see the passive locks underneath Nuke would have been enough for the kill, wasn't in time. Featherman misreading another trade in the laning phase.
It's to be a very spicy mid lane matchup as this game goes on. 2-1 in kills. H2K still maintaining that gold advantage, but it is not huge at the moment. Just 1,000. Featherman picking up the blue buff over on the other side of the map. There is an Infernal Drake on the map, so you think that this would be a pretty tasty objective, but Jankos has had other business for the time being.
Yeah, Jankos trying to just secure some vision bottom side, just in case they want to try and make a play, utilizing the Ash Arrow onto this Caitlyn.
Jankos spotted here as he tries to ward down on the blue buff, which means both mid laners are going to be coming for it. Nukeduck finds Featherman. Nukeduck's clone, or Featherman's clone, finds Joko.
Attack of the clones.
Well, it is episode 2 of the series.
Well, if this was episode 2, nothing would happen, and we'd just be in episode 3, and you didn't really.
But it'd be okay because then we don't have to see Jar Jar Binks much anymore.
Very true.
I don't know. All right, Jankos jumping in onto Nukeduck. Vander coming in with the shield, and Nukeduck pulls a magic trick out of his hat.
Did Nukeduck get rooted as he arrived? That looked a little funky.
He's got enough time for a bit of light reading. Nicely played.
As Nukeduck appears in the portal, is able to get away. And Featherman once again not quite able to capitalize on this lead. He's going to get very frustrated by this.
Yeah. Well, and the tables are kind of turned in terms of effectiveness, right? Because Nukeduck's on this rise is going to just be a monster as the game goes on. And Featherman has a window that is very slowly going to close.
There's Nuclear in the bottom lane.
We haven't really talked about this bot lane matchup. It's been pretty quiet. A far advantage Nuclear's way, but there hasn't really been much to it. Honestly, Vander's been making the most moves out of all of the dual laners because he's been visiting mid lane.
Yeah, and he's now got his ultimate available as well, despite roaming out. Chase still hasn't hit level 6 himself. Now that does mean Nuclear has got a bit of a level advantage on Steelback, but that's not a whole lot of emphasis on having AD carry 1 level up for a little while. Now they're even. Yeah. So you can see that Chase still hurting a bit on the experience factor.
Just for now. See, heroic entrance could make the difference in a big fight, but without some of the items to back it up, that Galio won't be quite as tanky, as quite as big as it could be. Let's see, H2K wants to make a move towards the bottom side of the map, and you can see that Featherman was spotted on the ward.
Yeah, Vitality saw this happening, so it means that H2K have been red. Nukeduck wants to trade again.
Alright. Nothing comes of it. There's a 1 level difference. Now Cobblershirt even wants to join. This is a slow setup in the mid.
Everybody, look at where Vander is as well. Vander's trying to get there. Ace in the hole gets used by Vitality. They're trying to get the numbers advantage, but each team can't quite find an opening to go aggressive, and it means that H2K will back themselves away. Maybe look for this Infernal Drake.
Slow and steady, but they will move on towards the dragon, and it's only going to be Jankos doing it right now. There's an opportunity for Vitality to come in and take it away, but he's already down to half the health bar, and now with Che and Nuclear in the front, nothing doing, no chance for Vitality to get in and try to take it after that.
Yeah, it's just too quick for Kha'Zix to take down a Drake like the Infernal Drake.
It's one of the reasons you pick him, right? I mean, he's able to do that. Yep. Better than a lot of other junglers.
Joko didn't even have a smite available, so even if he had been able to get in range for Infinite Duress, wouldn't have really been enough of a factor. He's only just got it now and will likely use it. So, no chance of any kind of steal. H2K get themselves Infernal Drake. Still have 1,300 gold in the lead. A lot of that comes from farming the bottom lane. And that extra kill that they have, that Jankos picked up earlier on.
But Vitality need to start finding some answers because they're just letting themselves slowly lose out on objectives, slowly lose out in the gold game. And yeah, they've been able to make a couple of flashy plays, and Nukeduck got, a solo kill or close enough to a solo kill out onto Featherman, but you need more than that, right? I mean, it's a laning phase. They got a little bit of late game with that rise. But you said to yourself, the damage, apart from that, apart from the Caitlyn, it's not going to be enough right now. So they really need either just go full-on late game and build themselves up a, at least an even amount of gold to get there, or H2K is just going to slowly roll over them.
So at this point in the game, this is where everybody recently on the broadcast team has been revealing what TV show or movie they haven't watched.
All right. Well, you already said
what is it for you?
Oh,
no, not me.
Okay,
you don't push me around on this.
All right, well, we got time, right? As Featherman
actually,
chunks down Nukeduck. I'll get back to you.
They're trying to trade.
I will get back to that in a moment because the Ash Arrow's coming flying.
Oh, it hits! Oh, the cleanse.
That's what you take it for. All right. Still, Nuclear, an excellent marksman.
Don't think you're getting out of this, Pyra.
I'm thinking. There's a lot I haven't
I'll
seen.
give you time.
There's actually a lot I haven't seen.
That's,
you know what's I really want to watch but never have?
what's that?
Broadchurch.
Ooh, that's really good. Although sad. That's not everybody's seen it either. So we
I
can't
don't watch
really
anything with
around
David
this.
Tennant in it, so.
That's bad. But Featherman at this point, see, that's not really an embarrassing one.
Alright.
It's not something everybody's seen. Anyway, bottom lane,
Yeah.
there is...
Okay, Vander getting knocked up and Steel back to boot right now as Che goes unbreakable to try and block the line. Nuclear's got a lot more arrows than Steelback can fire shots, and Jankos is looking to come down to the bottom to clean up. Let's see if he's able to do it. Vander knows.
Oh, Chenault is
Bring
out.
Otoamne. In comes the Hero's entrance right on top of where he was. They get the knockout. In goes Joko, and the fight's gone hectic. Jankos picks up Vander. Big Barrel comes out from Cabochard to try and knock and pop them all away. But his one kill picked up, and Otoamne might be left for dead here. Joko, it's Cabochard going to be able to do it 1-for-1.
Vitality on the back end of that trade actually managed to even the score, and it looked to be a good setup from H2K utilizing the Shen ultimate, but everybody was just a little too low by the time Cabochard had actually arrived. And Cabo comes in, assists, well, picks up the kill for himself, and you can see that this Shen first pick for H2K, while it is good, while it's strong, doesn't necessarily destroy Cabochard in the top lane like the Fiora did in the previous game. And this is how the whole fight was set up. Braum passive goes on onto Vander. They're like, okay, maybe we can get the kill on the Galio, but it takes a long time. That damage reduction that comes through is difficult to deal with. Now as Jankos in from the side, the play took a whole lot of time, and a bit of deja vu in the bottom left side of your screen as H2K were looking for the play again, but it doesn't really pan out too much more than just a kill for either team. Steelback is safe under the tower. There was a teleport cancelled out from Featherman, and Otoamne just left on his own by H2K to die for Vitality.
Not much you could do there. The barrel really started to help get the ball rolling, and now it looks like we're in for a trade of towers, but H2K should be able to secure the first one. It's a late first tower blood, in all honesty, as H2K will get it, extending that gold lead up, and now Nuke is stopped up underneath his tower. Featherman sends the chains out once again, but this time they miss, and in comes Joko. Febby is going to have to flash it. And now Yanko's body blocking on the return from the Infinite Dress, which is just about to come off cooldown.
Yeah, it's Joko again. Oh, arrow comes.
Alright, one more time. Is it going to land? Oh, Nuke saw it go right behind him, and now he takes the edge of the portal. Once again, back to safety.
It did hit Joko. The arrow hit Joko, but nobody could actually connect on it. So, accuracy is a win for Nuclear, but H2K, they did lose their top tower in that exchange. Eventually, Joko lining it up.
Wings gets the Infinite Duress off onto Jankos, however, stops up by Che, and now Joko is able to say, that's just fine, I'll kill you too.
This H2K attempt hasn't been as clean as in Game 1. H2K out trading kind of ineffectively. Still the same gold lead that there has been all the way through, but now Vitality have an opening maybe towards getting vision control on top side from Rift Herald. They've already got the enemy tower. That could be a play that they can make in the next couple of minutes before it despawns and Baron appears.
Vitality have been given some openings to work with, and you can see they are able to punish, at least on an individual basis. We saw it in Game 1. We've seen it in a lot of their games, even if it's not netted them wins very often. But individual performance, when it comes down to making those catches, has really worked out for them.
Yeah, it has, and that's one of the areas that we're going to have to come to expect them to build upon. But honestly, for Vitality, I just feel like they're not good at converting their lead into overall objective wins. Like, this is a great defensive win for Vitality here, because H2K just play right into their hands, but they don't really get anything else from it, is the biggest problem.
Let's see if they can at least translate that with a little bit more control on the map. Now, Vander does place a ward right around the backside of the Dragon Pit. It is another Inferno. And they're making moves in mass to try and finish this off, but it's going to be spotted out by H2K. Can Jankos get in for the steal? Does not have the side on it, but he'll go over the wall all the same. Can't secure it. And now he gets popped up by the barrel, forced to flash away, and Steelback trying to kite from Featherman as Che is right in the thick of it. In comes Otoamne onto the taunt, finishes the kill. Hero's entrance just comes a smidgen too late, and Otoamne and the rest of H2K are looking to clean up.
Wow, that actually ended up being better. Nuke, I thought perhaps he'd taken his teammates into unfamiliar territory, but he actually manages to get them out there. Vander and Nuke will be able to recall out. Joko,
not so lucky.
Yeah. It's not going to be able to get the execute, but that all started from Vitality trying to rush down the dragon. It's actually Nuke that ended up picking it up.
Okay, well, that's all happening. H2K are going to go ahead and finish off the final turret in the mid, or the turret in the mid, I should say, as Jankos gets himself a 3rd kill of the game. King of the jungle, indeed. Alright. Oh, hello! Nice pop in there. They're going to combo right on top of Nuclear to get the kill off, and Febimin, he could be in trouble as well. Nuclear does take out Cabochard in the scuffle, though, so at least he trades 1 for 1.
Yeah, H2K have been playing very aggressively into this middle lane, trying to break the tower without making any sort of Rift Herald play. Oh, hang on, Jankos is there in the middle lane as well. We're going to take a look back at this Dragon fight. Looking at the live preview, and I have at least there's no fight going in the mid lane. And somehow Nukta was the one that got that. Jankos did smite.
Rise does damage.
Yeah, Rise does do damage, but Joko didn't actually smite himself, so that's a little fortunate for Vitality. And then at that point, Nukta manages to get the portal out. Another fight where Steelback without summoners, or at least without the flash, is kind of in a very precarious spot and gets picked up by H2K, and then at this point this is the H2K overstaying in the mid lane. 1 for 1 trade, couldn't quite get the tower from it, still haven't got it as we go back to the live picture.
Alright, so it has been a lot of focus on the mid lane for H2K, but at least Vitality have been able to find some kills back for themselves. We're getting closer and closer to that 20-minute mark, and it still seems to be the slow and steady, with some uncertainty, a little wobbles, a few moves that are a little questionable from H2K from time to time, but they maintain that gold lead.
And that'll give Vitality the ability to maybe to build back into this game. They do obviously have a Caitlyn, which is always a good late game insurance policy.
Not to mention the Rise.
And this game there isn't quite so much scaling on H2K. Ashe is okay. Shen and LeBlanc, not for damage necessarily in the late game, would be relying on. So they need to win a couple of fights here.
Oh, starting off on 1 peel away from the Rift Herald in the final seconds, ticking down for him. And Vander's the one who's going to get popped by Febimin. Now Nukta caught up in the action. It's a 3-man bot from Cabochard, but way too late as Jankos gets jumped on by Joko in the back. Shay looking to be fired down as well, but all of a sudden his teammates are all gone, and Joko finds out the hard way that sometimes you got to defend those carries. This is a 4 for 1 trade.
H2K say, don't worry about the Rift Herald, we'll peel back away from it, take the advantageous fight. Again, they go aggressive, land the Ashe arrow this time, and are able to go right through mid-tower. Anyway, Steellight was standing under the mid-inner, he may get fallen.
Not quite up. It looked like the chains didn't connect. He was being body blocked by the minions, but Febimin still took a nice bite out of his health bar. H2K finally take down the mid-tower, and they get another one on top of it. See what happens when you don't fight under the tower. You get it after.
H2K able to pick up 2 towers to themselves.
You don't always need your eyes literally on the prize. Let's see this fight again.
Yeah, this was the fight where H2K ended up getting Nuclear. You can see Cactus out, Vander, Nukta gets slowed down by it. Shay manages to block the Rise ultimate from completing. That means Nukta falls very quickly after. Cabochard has good damage, but it just wasn't quite enough, and then look, Nuclear realizes Joker's not actually going to do anything to him after the ultimate is down, so turns back onto the Warwick as the last focus in the fight.
Back to the main screen right now, it's Nukta. Get fired down by Otawame, but Vander has joined on in. Shield of Duran to get the taunt off, but Jankos is unperturbed as he goes in to taste the fear of the Rise. Does he have the finisher? Oh, he's actually gotten second thoughts about this one as Vander and Steelback come back around for him, and now Jankos is in a pickle. But he's got Shen at his back. Otawame coming in, stand united as Nukta tries to turn back around. The fights just don't seem to be stopping right about now as Joko nearly gets Jankos. However, it's going to be Febimin that finishes the job on his Cabochard, and Steelback all caught out by himself. Febimin looking to go in to get a few more picks. And it's all H2K.
Yeah, H2K once again winning the fight. They've just got so many kills recently. 3, 1, and 6 on both mid and AD carry right now for H2K. And honestly, right now, it's so difficult because Steelback in the previous fight only did like 800 damage, which at this point isn't a whole lot of damage, and Caitlyn will get more damage. So this time he's like, I'm going to stick around in the fight longer. I'm just going to get auto attacks down, I'm going to stay there, I'm going to deal damage. Unfortunately, there's like a Shen blocking all of these autos, there's a Braum blocking them, there's so much resistance. And Steelback sticks around long enough for the Ashe arrow to hit him, and he can't get away. Vitality just don't seem to be able to either keep him alive or have him do damage in fights, and it's going 1 of 2 ways, and neither of them are successful.
I mean, the front line's been there. Cabochard has been getting the CC and the damage out. And here's the problem with the support Galio, though. He comes in, he does that.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, but Jankos just hops the wall.
Right, okay, Jankos hops the wall, but at this point, like, Vitality are already so far behind. It's not necessarily to support Gabio.
I was thinking this was a different replay where he dies. I was gonna be like, yeah, but yeah, that was actually not so bad.
Yeah, it was okay. You get the damage reduction going on. Cabochard ends up dying eventually.
And back to life. Okay, Nuke Duck, he's gonna get stopped up. CC chain for days as Nuclear fires the arrows with the Fury of the North. Taking out one, taking out two, getting himself a third, the triple as he just stopped for a farm looking for more kills. Vander now under fire, and he's going nowhere, and Yanko steals that kill away.
It was never going to be a penta because Cabo's on the top side. Imagine if I'd hit the cross-map arrow for the penta.
I'll get that one too, okay.
Not even available, but H2K in full control. 50 CS up for Nuclear in the 80 carry roll. H2K winning every other lane. Nearly 10,000 gold for themselves. After the Baron, it should just about tick over into that 5-digit lead.
Alright, well, Fevin's playing around with Cabochard up on the top. The barrel knocks him sideways out of tower range. It doesn't matter, though. It's all distraction while the Baron's going down. It's smited away, and Fevin even just tanks up a tower shot. Doesn't need to care as they finally were able to finish off this tower up top. 23 and a half minutes into the game, they're opening up a massive lead on Vitality.
Yeah, this is going to turn into an astronomical lead because before the Baron they already had a significant advantage, and now there's a couple of towers they can pick up easily. So how did this fight start? We were in the replay when it actually kicked off. Steelback moving forward. Oh, it was Vitality trying to portal in. It was a nice play. Like, let's look at that setup. If you are ahead with this Galio, with the ability to set up a play like that, maybe not under a tower, with the thinking of the portal into the taunt. Nice setup, but horribly backfires when you're nearly 10,000 gold down and you're trying it under a tower against an Ashe that has an arrow available.
Yeah. It was also really impressive with between chain Nuclear how well Nuclear was able to sidestep shots, get right onto the tower, kite around, while Che threw down the instant glacial fissure.
Yeah.
And they really couldn't get a whole lot done.
Realistically, there's not a whole lot ways back into this game for H2K. They try for Vitality. H2K having a full advantage. They have themselves a banner of command for Che. They're going to try again. Same play, is it?
All right, let's see if they can do anything. It looks like the answer is no. Before Vander even hits the ground, Nuke Duck is dropped 6 feet under it, and Vander is going to have no friends there. Another double kill coming out for Nuclear. This is going to be an arrow. It's still up.
Where is it?
25 minutes.
Like
they want to finish this
territory.
game. All right, well, Nuclear has definitely stood out, but the rest of the team is doing great. That arrow's flashed at the last second, but it is going to be way too late to get the flash back on this game. It looks like H2K is easily going to be able to clean up, although Fevin does fall at the back. That's a big shutdown going over to Joko, but is there any more damage left in the tank? Last Nexus turret's going down, and all they have to do is turn and kill the Nexus. Jankos, Cabochard, he's got some damage as well, but they just keep on turning for it. It's a hectic finish, but right at the end, H2K have done it to close out the series.
They killed the Nexus, they killed the champions beside it, H2K, with a huge lead to close that one out. 8-1 and 9 on the game from Nuclear, and some fantastic arrows.
I wanted to say, does that completely negate the massive deficit they had during spring? Is that a bigger win for them? I don't even know, but H2K showed up huge in that second game.
Yeah, and you look at it, it may have been a slow start to both games. Vitality looking strong in game number 1 to start it out, getting the first blood, getting first tower, I believe, in both games, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to close out. H2K able to back-to-back turn fights in their favor. You can see hug between Jankos and Panda. It was all in good fun.
Yeah. Well, he didn't camp the bot lane, so, you know, gave him the benefit of that one. But it didn't matter. It was all about H2K building up those leads and breaking out, taking down Vitality 2 times in a row, but a very different couple of games.
Panda's like telling them next time. Next
Coming
time,
for you.
Gadget, next time.
I have seen Inspector Gadget, by the way.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be Go Gadget, like,
Go watch
tablet
it.
to watch it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been the easier joke.
Yeah, that's okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. Maybe I just watch a lot more TV than all of you guys.
I don't even know where that came from.
Clearly, I haven't missed too much. But for H2K, they didn't miss a beat.
No. They didn't.
Well played for them. I mean, it's so rough when you lose out against Unicorns in a long series, but they looked like nothing had phased them. They had a long time to think about their plan of attack against Vitality, and honestly, they didn't seem to break a sweat.
No, they didn't. I think there's a couple of areas that H2K themselves will be a little disappointed at. Individual errors in the laning phase that are uncharacteristic for the lineup. I think that's what they'll kind of take as the hardest part of this
had
game.
some pretty solid outplays.
Yeah, he did. And Nugduck, once again, kind of showing up at certain times, but it doesn't seem to be a reliable baseline for Vitality. But let's not forget, Vitality did secure a win in the series earlier this week. They have secured a position above Mysterious Monkeys, but I think the criticism goes on just how these players have performed in previous splits and how it's just not coming together for Vitality right now. And a team like H2K is just too tough an opponent right now. H2K are fighting for the top of the group. Vitality, the only people they were able to take down in the first round robin of the groups, was only just the Mysterious Monkeys.
Yeah, there's definitely still some growth we're going to have to see out of this Vitality team if they want to even make a chance at playoffs, because it seems like the expectations just get a little bit lower every split. Rosters change. It's not always the same. But you can hear them on the other side. H2K, I mean, honestly, a well-earned victory for them.
Didn't quite catch it.
But that's a fun fact. I get to do that when they play well, so probably approves.
That's a good thing to know. Did they also get the chicken nuggets after a while?
I think that happens regardless, but I might have to go back and ask Biancos about that one. But another player who honestly was a winner chicken dinner, and this one was Nuclear, because he's our player of the series. I mean, it's kind of easy to tell after that last game, but he was throwing shots out left and right.
Yeah, really good performance out of Nuclear. Played Xayah in the first game. Most of his kills, however, came as his Ashe game in Game 2, and so many of the engages were going his way, managing to connect with the arrow. The Xayah game getting multiple stuns throughout team fights. I think this is... We saw Chase show up in Week 1, now we've seen Nuclear show up in Week 3. I think that's a great sign for H2K.
Yeah, I mean, it's showing up what, on paper, coming into the split, coming even into the year, Nuclear Che were two names that you'd think would mesh well together, and it took a little bit of time, and then they did, and it was fantastic.
But then we saw the horrendous playoff performance.
That's true. It's I kind of like blocked that one out of my memory, to be honest.
That's like the most important H2K we
gotta step up, right?
Because that was just a shock loss. And remember now, teams in the summer split fighting to get their way towards Worlds. H2K, they were last year's semi-finalists. Let's not forget that H2K, if they don't at least make it to Worlds, I think they'll be very unhappy with that. But they are looking like they're building their way back towards that, looking for that summer split set of points to maybe try and get there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still a long split ahead. We're only 3 weeks in to the European LCS, and I think cross-group play is honestly really going to reveal a whole lot of stuff, because we saw a lot of the teams going on for long 3-game series, but it's just going to get better and better when that flips around. Now, that will do us from here at the caster desk. Let's go ahead and send it over to the post-game lobby to wrap up Week 3.
Hello everyone and welcome to the post-game lobby. We're going to take a look back on Week 3, highlight some of the big players, and look at what's to come. I'm here with Vedius and of course Rocket's support with D. Welcome gentlemen to the post-game lobby. And the first thing that I want to talk about, we had some insane upsets this week. If we take a chance to look at the standings, I think it's safe to say a lot of things aren't quite where we expected them to be, and Woody, I would say that you are definitely on the beneficiary end of that. Are you surprised that you guys were able to take down Fnatic this week?
It was a bit surprise, yeah, of course, for us. But we tried to end up Game 3 really cleanly, so yeah, we did it. So we just proud of ourselves right now. We have a winning streak, so it's fine.
And in Group B, we've got 3 teams fighting for first place. I believe it was Unicorns beat H2K, H2K beat Splice, and Splice beat Unicorns. So they're all beating each other, a lot of exciting stuff. And when cross-group play happens next week, that's going to spice up the stand.
Oh, definitely like a huge deciding factor there. And I want to kind of take a chance to look at one of those upsets too, specifically G2 versus Misfits was a series that I just found totally crazy. I feel like the big factor there for me was that Misfits looked so in control for a lot of these games, and that was surprising to see this much growth. Wadid, I'm curious, what was your impression of the series between G2 and Misfits?
I think Maxo was like not a good early game jungler, but he improved a lot, and he just played some stuff on early game, and also his macro god, of course. So he did really well on this series, and of course this week's. And yeah, I think Misfits did really well with some early game macro.
And I was just super impressed with how Misfits played as a team, right? Because the expectation was that bringing Max Law in would improve the communication within the team. It was all like, maybe he's mechanically weaker than Cacao, but he's supposed to add other value. And this week I thought was the first time that we really started to see the value that he brought. And getting the opportunity to chat with him beforehand, his mentality has completely changed. He's all about coming in, feeling confident, feeling positive, and at the start of the day, he said to me, I went to that series going, this is going to be a free win. That's just what I said to myself, I said it to my team, and I was convinced that it was true. And my play resembled the feelings that I had, and it was very impressive to see how he translated his mentality into his play
I
style.
love when you talk about Max because you just get so excited. The former UK.
He's UK.
I get it. You're excited. Now, Wadid, Maxwell used to be on your team. Can you talk to me a little bit? Rocket's still seeing some good success here in the early split, but what's the biggest change that you've noticed without Maxwell?
Maxwell was the problem of the Maxwell was like early game macro. He just don't want to pull the trigger early game because he just want to save and some want to just late game macro. But actually, he changed a lot of the early game, so he have confidence to do something, and then. Yeah, he's late in his macro golf, so yeah, he changed a lot all of it.
And it still works out pretty well for you guys. How is it adjusting now to having Pride Stalker on the roster instead of Maxwell?
I think Pride Stalker is more good at the mechanically, and also he's the same as me, like young guy, and he can improve a lot. And it's like now it's like staff for a good jungler, so right now it's too bit early to judge Price Stoker, so I just can say just keep on eyes on Price Stoker.
Definitely fair. All right, let's take another look at one of our other upsets, Splice versus Unicorns of Love. Another big one. I had the pleasure of casting one. I was pretty stunned, honestly, to see how clean Splice were playing. For me, one of the big things felt like Senka's coming in on a lot of really solid, what looked to be comfort picks for him. Betty, what was your impression?
I thought that Sankix looked like a completely different mid laner. Like this guy bringing out the Radiant Soul, the Kassadin, and the Malzahar. Like we know that this guy has a deep champion pool, but the fact that he was able to make them work so effectively against the Unicorns of Love was just a joy to see. And it seemed to me that Splice as a team came in with a lot to prove. We heard it from the interview with Trashy where he's saying like this split was extremely important for him because they as a team and he as an individual wanted to show to the rest of Europe that they still have what it takes to be a top team. And I think that if they can maintain performance like they did against the Unicorns, then they're well on their track to achieving it.
It's interesting too. What do you think was the biggest failing of Unicorns of Love in that series? Wadid, what was your impression? Did Unicorns of Love, was this just Splice being very, very good, or did Unicorns of Love maybe make some mistakes here?
I think they just know how to play new champions like Malza. Like he changed a lot, and then like Rakan. I saw Mickey X's Rakan. He was really good at Rakan also, and then like they just have a confidence and. Yeah, they just can't pull the trigger.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe if there weren't as many new picks in this series, if Splice had just played more of the same things that Unicorns of Love were used to, that maybe Unicorns of Love would have been able to take it?
Maybe it's really hard to pick new champion on stage, because you just want to save for on stage because you guys just want to show their really just good things. But yeah, like picking some new champions or pocket pick is like gamble, but also same time it's really good at some situations. So yeah, I think Splice pull the trigger, take the trigger, and then they did really well.
All right, Vedius, what was your impression on that end? Is there something that you thought the Unicorns of Love could have stepped up, or was it just kind of new picks for Splice really giving them the edge in the series?
I think that you have to throw a bit of criticism towards the mid laner of the Unicorns of Love. Exile did not have the best series of his life, and I think that a way in which he played a lot of those fights and his impact in the team was a little bit underwhelming, to say the very least. And I think that coming into the next few weeks, individually, the Unicorns of Love need to step it up a little bit more. I think that their team play is still very solid, but a lot of the reason as to why they fall behind against Splice was because of the early deficits and the early laning deficits that they ended up being pushed into.
It was an interesting thing to see for sure. Well, we've seen a lot of action in Group B, a lot of tons of crazy series coming in, and there's just more to Group B than meets the eye. And while Shox is not here, she did leave us a message with her thoughts. Let's take a look.
I want to take a moment to appreciate the teams in Group B and the attention they are bringing to some of the most important issues of our time. First up, vitality. The Bees are not doing so hot in the LCS split, but at least are drawing attention to the threat colony collapse disorder poses to the global food supply. Now the mysterious monkeys also not doing too hot, and with that reminding us of the horrible consequences of the destruction of the rainforest, one of which being the extinction of many species, especially our primate pals. Now Splice and Semcox are also doing their part, bringing out the Aurelian soul and to keep us aware of the ever-expanding universe and its effects on future generations. And how can we forget the Unicorns of Love? By defying the odds and remaining victorious time and time again, they're giving us more and more reason to believe that magic is in fact real. And last, but certainly not least, the admirable efforts of H2K, reminding us time and time again not to throw at Baron.
Okay, I did not know that was going to happen. When they told me that we had something with shocks, I assumed it was like a Group B breakdown, and admittedly it was a breakdown. That's not quite what I was expecting. All right, well, luckily, H2K fans, your team did not throw at Baron, so they're learning, and as far as the rest of the
world
ecologic
we should all
world
think
issues
about,
we should be aware of.
really.
EULCS is everywhere.
Yes.
Well, first round robin of EULCS is now over, and I want to highlight some of the players that have kind of made an impression this week. And the three of us have each picked out our studs and our duds, the players we think have been doing incredibly well, and the players that we may think have been underperforming. Now, Vedius, I want to start with you. Let's get that stud first. Who do you think was a standout this week?
We talked about him earlier. I'm going to talk about him again. It is Senkirks, the mid laner for Splice. This guy, I feel, has been performing out of his mind recently. The team seemed to have made a shift with his playstyle. In the past, he was always trying to carry his team. He was always trying to pick these champions that could allow him to be light perks, like Power of Evil, just these big carries. But now he's realized that he's much better in terms of utility and just providing support for the rest of his team. And bringing up unique champions like Aurelian Soul, Talia, and even Malzahar, where he's not really that frontline kill the assassin kind of carry. He's more of the defensive, I can peel, I can make defensive game-changing plays. Just seems to have unlocked this guy, and he's doing so much more work for Splice.
And I'm curious, Woody, what your impressions were of Senkux this week. Do you think he can still be successful when he doesn't have things like the Malzahar or the Aurelian Soul in his hands?
If you are good at pocketing, of course you're good at just basic things, so he's still good at it.
Definitely fair to say. Now, interesting, Betty, this was the positive, of course, this is the player you thought underperformed, so let's take a look at your dud. Who was the underperformer? Who was the guy who didn't quite make the cut this week?
The underperformer for me this week, it has to be Steelback. As a player, I feel like he has not been living up to the hype that was surrounding him last year at the end of summer. People expected a lot more from him, like he was a teamfight god. He was always coming out with positive KDAs at the end of every fight. He as an individual seemed to offer so much to his team, yet right now, I feel like he's struggling in lane. He's not offering a huge amount in teamfights. His presence seems non-existent, and especially in the last few weeks, even against the Mysterious Monkeys, it didn't feel like he was doing anything exceptional, and he's just, to me, not living up to the expectations that we had.
And it was definitely rough for him up against H2K today. But Wadid, I want your input now. Who was your stud this week? Who was the big overperformer for you? Who was you thought someone that just stepped up?
I think my stud is Maxlo, because Maxlo actually improved a lot between, like, if you just compare to our Rocket Maxlo and Misfits at Maxlo, he just make Misfits as a team, so I think he just performed really well at early game, and also his late game, and he know how to rotation. And that means it's really good for Misfits, because Misfits needs some communication as a team, so.
Well, it's definitely good to see. Now, Vedius, you, of course, had really high hopes for Maxlor coming into this season. You wanted the Maxlor out far. You talk about it every chance you get in the office. Do you feel like we're starting to see that now? Is this the Maxlor that you expected coming in from there?
It's all more than I expected, right? Because when I did used to cast him back in the day, the level that he's at now is far above and beyond. And it's a pleasure to see what he is doing for the team that he is on. You heard it from the did, like, his late game macro seems to be gone. I think there's still development that needs to be done in terms of his early game impact, but as a jungler and what he's doing for his team, his growth has been fantastic.
Very good to see. Now, Wadid, we gave a little bit of praise. Now we got to be a little bit critical. Who didn't quite make the cut this week in your book?
I think NIP Shug I chose because actually I think NIP's laners are pretty good because Nagne and Profis are just veteran player in Korea also, and then Hiku and Spratle was also good at their teams, so I think they have to make some play. The trigger is jungler, but they didn't. I feel like so. If he can change, maybe NIP will change.
Alright, we'll have to see if that development can be there. Now, it's my turn. Hosts don't always weigh in, but alright, I'm going to give you my stud. And Vegas is going to contest something you said earlier, so feel free to fight me on this. But for me, Mickey X has to be the stud this week. And while you're over there praising Sandpax and I admit the Malzahar was good, the Aurelian Soul was good, but every single one of those fights, this man, that smug face on his look, he was flash playing people, admittedly once through a Blitzcrank hook to get Caitlyn pulled, not as good, but constantly setting up these team fights, constantly making things happen. And for me, he was just a standout performer.
I thought that he played well, for sure. I think it's nice to see that he is being a big contributor for his team, but I think that Mickey has always been a big performer for Splice. I think looking back to when he originally joined, there were a lot of doubt around how well he would do on Splice, and then he was that big playmaker. He was bringing out champions like the Bard. He brought out the Camille last split where they made the Ziggs Camille bottom lane work. Like, this guy, to me, has always been one of the more consistent outplay performers on the side of Splice, which is why, to me, his recent performances isn't much of a surprise.
Oh, wow. I love how you turned that against me. All right, well, humor me a little bit. Wadid, how did you feel about Mickey X? You mentioned that he was really solid on the recon, but give me kind of the impression of how you feel about him overall.
Yeah, he played really well. That means he can be a best support in EU, but that means I can be also best support in EU if I beat him. So next match maybe we against Splice. So I just expect against it.
That's gonna, so it's going to be
the battle for the best support in EU. No one will get to play Rakan. I can almost guarantee it. All right, well, to round it out, one final dud. And I feel bad, a little bit bad saying this, honestly, but this week it was, for me, it was Exile. Just, unfortunately, way too aggressive in the laning phase, getting punished so consistently, and it just did not come together for him and the Unicorns to love this week. And for the first time, what I feel like, since his first few weeks on the stage, I felt like he was more of a burden to the team than he was a boom. But that's one of those things that I think we have to hope improves in the future, because he has been just such a huge key to success for Unicorns.
I also think that it could have just been a bad week for Exile, right? Like, you have to remember that Unicorns still sit at a 3-1 record. The entire team is still playing very well, and while he may have had this week a bad individual performance, we know that there is more to Exile, and so coming into the next few weeks, especially cross-group play, I'd like to think that he will change his playstyle up and look to respect the mid laners that you have over in group.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. Our standouts of Week 3. We'll see what they bring to the Rift next week for the first cross-group matches of the summer split. Well, now it's time to take a look back at more individual performance here. Everybody else gets big plays of the week brought to you by Acer. Now, first up, Maxlor came up with a strong performance on Lee Sin versus G2. At G80 tweeted, Maxlor, you better start practicing a different jungler because you're not getting Lee Sin anytime soon.
Sometimes they just don't think about it, and no one tells them. Tension, Disintence onto Trick, Ash Arrow connects as well. Here comes Maxlor. He finds Perks, and Perks is down! Maxlor takes him out. Alfari's on the back end looking for Trick. A double flay! That's gonna kill! The Disintence finds Expect, and it's a triple for almost the best jungler in Europe! 35 minutes in, Seismic Shove catches onto Trick. There's the heroic entrance. Perks is on the front line. Spence trying to get the arrows down. Alfari's taking a lot of damage. The quickness charms up too. Power of Evil takes damage. Maxlor's on the back end. He's got Sven. There's no more damage to back it up. Miffy gets shoved by Power of Evil. Alfari's unstoppable, and Power of Evil kills Perks.
Maxlor finds Kalista in this team fight. That means Sven goes down. That means there's no damage left on G2 Esports.
And really, it's just hard not to call Maxlor a stud after you watch that highlight play. And Wadid, I think, rightfully earned praise, because you're talking about the late game macro, you're talking about a lot of things, but even just in terms of individual playmaking, I felt like Maxlor really stepped up this week.
Yeah, he really stepped up at the early game also. It means he can go late game. Yeah, that means it's really good for him. Like, yeah, he can pull the trigger with the Lee Sin. I don't think he can play Lee Sin more.
I think Max Law is the kind of player that would be like, it's not called the Insect anymore, it's called the Max Law. I'm sure he's got a long way to go before he gets there, but I know for a fact that he is the kind of player that aims for those kind of goals.
I love it. That is not a Max Lore quote for the
That's
record.
not a Max
Please
Lore quote.
do not name that on Vedius. Do not put that on Max Lore. Well, it wasn't just Max Lore this week. Power Eagle showed everyone the power of the dark side with his Oriana, and Lacey-Unlike who chimed in. Report Ignar for stealing Mr. Power Eagle's Penta. I agree. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we should report.
Let's see what happens here. All right, we'll keep our eyes on this fight. Alfari's coming in from behind G2. The flanking Crocodile throws down the Dominus, gets a stun onto Burks. Here comes Maxlaw. I'm looking for the kick, looking for the target. Biffy puts down the Glacial Fisher, and it's Maxlaw that's down. He's shut down. It's a 2-0 though for Power of Evil. He continues to chase. Expect goes Boulder with Hourglass, and will get shut down. Triple kill for Power of Evil. Sven gets taken out by Ignar's death sentence, and Alfari sets up the Quadra for PoE.
It's rough being a mid laner when support stealing your kills. Indeed, don't still kill it, buddy.
To be fair, Shannon's still
Yeah, I just want to say it. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great play from Power of Evil. One of the arguably most consistent performance on Misfit since the return in summer. And it is nice to see the rest of the team all stepping up alongside him.
Yeah, it's definitely a good look for the guys, and of course, just a fantastic series overall. And it's hard to pinpoint any one moment of power or one member this week performing. Max or Power of Evil both doing incredibly well, over the course. But of course, our final replay for tonight. Earlier tonight, we saw some action-filled team fights from H2K and at XKetjo. That's not pronounced correctly, but whatever, man. I'll figure it out later. Tweeted, H2K's new strategy, throw ally 80 carry into enemy and get them killed, win the team fight anyway. I love this one. Let's take a look.
H2K for the last couple of minutes still heavily ahead. Shay wants to go aggressive, take a nuclear with him this time. Oh, that's actually right into the backline.
Oh boy, Nuclear, can he stay alive? He gets charmed up for just a second, but they are going to try to keep turning it. The shockwave will pull in many, but they have lost. They are 80 carry. A pair of redemptions come down. I don't know if anyone's going to be redeemed after this one, but H2K got enough in the tank, and that Fiora's running wild.
Okay, Wadid, you talked a lot today about pulling the trigger. Was this good from Shay? Was this good pulling the trigger in terms of just hand delivering nuclear into the fight?
Yeah, that is why Nuclear is player of the series, I think. Yeah, he just throw out his body and then they spend everything for him and then they win fights. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
If anything, it was Nucleus because Shay was just trying to engage, right? He was just using his ulti and Nucleus was like, oh, we've made this place so many times before, I'll hop in your mouth and let's go. He just wasn't expecting. Shay's like, what are you doing here? And then it ended up, unfortunately.
All right, so it definitely did not work out for them. Now, I'm curious. I feel like Shay and Nuclear as a bottom lane have just been stepping up across the board. We didn't get to talk as much about Game 2, but what was your impression of Shay kind of over the course of this series?
I think Game 1 was a struggle, to be honest, for H2K, but the big change was Chay's ulti, and then he changed the top lane matchup. Like, Otone have a big tempo from that, and then like Shay make a play a lot with his time catch again and again and again. Also, we saw that, and I think he's a good playmaker in the H2K.
Definitely fair to say. Of course, interesting to see just how much better a lot of these teams are getting. But let's take a chance now to look at the matchups coming up next week. It's going to be our first week with cross-group play. You can see them now on your screen. Now, of course, Wadid, you already mentioned a little bit, so I want to talk Splice versus Rawcat really quickly. Is this it? Is this the definitive battle to decide who will be the best support in EU? Mickey X or Wadid?
Yeah, it's gonna be juicy. Yeah,
It's gonna be juicy. That is the best way to describe a series.
That is
ever.
that is the analytical insight I was looking for, Wadid. All right, Vedius, who do you think is favored in this match? I'm going to put you on the spot. I know we're right here.
Favored?
Who is favored? Both teams upsetting, both teams changing the status quo, both teams with the fans. Good supports as well.
Who do I think is favored? I think, based on current performances, the top half of the map is heavily in favor of Splice right now. But the bottom half of the map, I think Rocket have the edge.
And now you're not just pandering, right?
No, I'm
Tor?
not
Yeah,
I'm pandering. No, I think Did and Shannon have been two of the best performing bot laners so far in Summer Split. But I think that we have seen them try that before when there, Rakan and Zio is not as strong as like a Zac, right? So I think that the draft is going to be very important, but I think that right now, Pride Stalker's early game impact will be heavily outpaced by the level of impact that Trashy can have, especially with how well his two solo lanes are playing.
Now, Indeed, you and I did an interview middle of spring split last season. And when you came in, you were pretty confident. You told me that you and Jarden could win any bot lane in Europe. You were very confident. I know you remember because you're laughing now. Do you think that that's still the case? How do you feel about you guys as a bot lane compared to the rest of you?
Like, even you can't win, you have the mindset like that because like you have confidence. That means you can pressure ball lane. Yeah, I think mindset like that it's really hard because you can be greedy also at the same time. So I don't want to be greedy, but I want to just get the confidence.
All right. Good to have the confidence coming out. Now, one final matchup I want to talk about before we close out the post-game lobby. G2 versus Unicorns of Love. Former Kings, in the case of G2, struggling a little bit this season. Unicorns of Love still doing well for the most part, even after the upset against Splice. I want to go to you first, Vedius. Who do you think is going to take this one? What is going to be the defining factor of this matchup?
I think, based on current performances, this could be the best opportunity for Unicorns of Love to finally defeat G2. We saw it from Misfits, and we're seeing it right now from the teams in Group A. G2 have not fully adapted to the current meta. This has been a recurring issue where G2 are just slow to pick up new champions, and while they have taken a little while to get back into the swing of things, 2 weeks of practice, I expect them coming into next week having a better grasp of what is going on. But if they do not, then this is a prime opportunity for UOL to take that 2-1 and get themselves firmly ahead in Group B.
All right, Radeed, how do you feel about this matchup? You're kind of in the same vein. G2 maybe just now starting to pick it up, just starting to get together for the new patch. Who do you think is going to come out on top between G2 and Unicorns of Love?
I think they're also like good. I think it depends on G2 because they actually have a lot of schedule from a lot of international leagues. So it's gonna take some time, but it can be start of the winning streak of G2. So yeah.
Until they run into Roccat again,
Yeah.
right? You promised me a lot of win streaks, Woody. That's all I'm saying. But either way, it'll be interesting to see. I know a lot of G2 fans are hoping that this will be the rise, but certainly a lot of Unicorns fans want to see Unicorns of Love continue to win in this series, continue to hold down that spot at the top of Group B. Well, either way, that'll do it from us here in Week 3 of the Summer Split. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back next Thursday for more action in the EU LCS. We'll see you all right then.
Will it be Bridestalker or will it be Shook? The Kingslayers Roccat take to the stage to take down Ninjas in Pajamas. Massive knocker onto Roccat. The Baron is helping out with NIP. It's Bridestalker, Smitestalker that secures the path. Sprato is running for his life and Bridestalker is just waiting for the autos. Hops across the wall. NIP are aced.
It is very difficult for the Rumble to get in range. Therefore, often you'll just see a lot of farming and just a bit of skirmishing back and forth. It backtracks what we saw game on, even if they lose it, carries will go for fight now.
They do indeed everything combos. Betsy's just wrong. It's a triple kill for Betsy, looking for the quadra kill. He needs one more kill. Rocket gonna try, and it's stolen. Scumbag Yarnin denies the penta. Rocket kill the Ninjas.
See how it ends up working out for Team Vitality's team. Really needs to build on the momentum that they've started. But H2K, they're going to be hunting. Look for the direct flashes, dashes, there it goes! 2 quick kills for Vitality. Can they make it 3? Cabo Shard pulls the lead and gets himself another. Cabo Shard, meanwhile, trying to 1v1 out against Olawane, but the clock is going to get rocked. Fabivin with the finisher. Ooh, hold on, flash for that one. Not today, says Fabivin. Being away with
Wolf's on a leash.
Oh boy, and in comes Jankos, trying splats him. Here he goes as he flashes forward and tastes his fear. As Joko nearly gets Jankos, however, it's going to be Fabivin that finishes the job on a combo shard and steal back. All caught out by himself. The triple as he just stopped for a farm looking for more kills. Vander now under fire and he's going nowhere and Jankos steals that kill away. Last Nexus turret's going down and all they have to do is turn and kill the Nexus. Jankos, Kabushar, he's got some damage as well, but they just keep on turning for it. It's a hectic finish, but right at the end, H2K have done it to close out the series.